Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So if you are a reader or in the book community, you probably know now is a very exciting time of year because it seems like all of the new releases tend to come out in the months of like April, May, June, July-ish. Like the summertime just feels like such a big time for book releases. There are so many coming out in the next few months that I'm so excited to read. So I thought that I would do a reading new releases vlog, and yeah, I would just go through a few. I'm probably gonna make 2 of these at least, just because there are so many books and some of them don't come out for a little bit. So I think I'm gonna do like part 1 now, then maybe part 2 later, maybe a part 3, who knows, we'll see how many books I get in. But yeah, I am really excited. I just love this time of year. The weather is finally starting to warm up, we're getting some sunshine, and I am just very excited for reading in this time of year. The first book, and this one came out a couple weeks ago now, but I'm just getting around to reading it, and that is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the final book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I actually just finished Lost and Lassoed literally last night. I had just not gone around to that one. That one came out maybe in the fall time, I want to say. Finally read that one, I enjoyed it, and now we are going to get into Wild and Wrangled. I actually started this last night and then have been reading a little bit today, and I'm currently on page 104, and I will say of all the books in this series, I think I'm liking this one the most. Just the storyline in general and kind of the plot or the trope is just one of my favorites. It is a second chance romance, especially when they dated when they were younger or like in high school or something. And then obviously they break up, and then now you have them kind of coming back together for whatever reason it may be and kind of trying to work through those feelings. Something about a second chance romance is just always going to do it for me. So we have Camille, and she is about to get married. She's like, she grew up rich, and her parents are kind of not arranging this marriage necessarily, but for convenience of her family's business and his family's business, they're just like gonna get married. She has a daughter with one of the sons from the Ryder family, which if you read the series, you know the Ryder family is like the main family in the series. They're the ones that run Rebel Blue Ranch, and you actually get her daughter Riley's dad, Gus. You get his love story in Lost and Lassoed, and I just love how they're all so interconnected. And like, even though Cam and Gus have been co-parenting their daughter, everyone is still super welcoming of Cam and the family and kind of treats her like one of their own, which I really love. So she's set to get married, and then the groom leaves her a note that he is not coming to the wedding. He's met somebody else, and he is like, I can't go through with this. So obviously she like runs away, and she runs to the local town bar where she's like drowning her sorrows, and in walks Dusty, who's her high school boyfriend, and they haven't really talked much since. And he kind of takes her away for a night and like gets her out of town and everything. And then she's like, we can't be anything, like I need to figure things out. Basically she tells him like this is not going to be the start of anything. And then she goes to rent a house in the town for her and her daughter, kind of get a fresh start. And she finds out that Dusty is actually living in the like back house of this house that she's going to rent. So now there's going to be this forced proximity, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Yeah, I'm just like really loving the characters so far. Dusty is the sweetest guy. Like, he just wanted to take care of Cam. He knew that she was struggling and like knew exactly what she was going to want. She wasn't going to want all these people around her like trying to make her feel better, and he just got her out of town for the night and was like, let's just go, I'm going to take you away. And like doing it not because he wanted anything out of the interaction, but just doing it because he knew that's what she needed. And it was just really sweet. Also, you get flashbacks to them in high school when they first met, kind of starting up their relationship, which is one of the things I love so much in a second chance romance, is the flashbacks that you get. And then obviously her relationship with the Ryder family, and just the small town, like very close knit. I love that so much, especially since we've gotten to see all the other love stories of the main characters in this series. And so you get to see all of them and their stories kind of continue on throughout this book. So I am so far really loving it. I've been giggling at different parts, and yeah, it's just really sweet. I am very intrigued to find out what happened that caused them to break up in high school and kind of have this big distance. They keep talking about how they have a lot of baggage, and so I'm like, what is this baggage that they have? I need more info. So that's what I'm hoping we're gonna get to here soon. finished Wild and Wrangled. I will talk more about that in a little bit, but the author put at the end of this book the wedding of Luke and Emmy, which is the couple from the first book, done and dusted. And there's this part that in the story, you know, the mom of the siblings passed away when they were young, and it's right before Emmy's wedding, and she like goes to visit her mom and like just talk to her like the morning of her wedding, like at her grave. And oh my god, this is making me so emotional. Ugh. So, as you guys saw, I finished Wild and Wrangled, and I really enjoyed this. I ended up giving this 4 stars. It was so sweet. I mentioned before how I just love this trope of like childhood friends to lovers. Something happens, they reconvene in their adulthood, and yeah, just have like a second chance at love. I just freaking love a second chance romance. What can I say? I also really loved Dusty's character in this book. He's the mailman character, and I just really enjoyed him. Like, he was always so down bad for Cam. Like, even when they broke up, when whatever happened in high school, like, he remained in love with her for years. Like, it's 15 years later, and he has remained in love with her. And even though she was hesitant and wasn't sure and was like scared of getting hurt again, he just waited for her and like continued to show up for her and be supportive of her and her daughter, and like just showed that he was going to be there and that he wasn't going to leave her. And I just really loved his character. Also, if you are like avoidant attachment, if that is your attachment style, I feel like you are going to relate to Cam, because she is very avoidant, gets nervous of getting close to people. She's like constantly feels like people are going to leave her, and so that's kind of why she was hesitant with Dusty. And like even when the one thing happens, kind of in, it's not even really a third act breakup, it's just kind of a third act conflict, I guess, when that happens and she like is ready to just push him away because she's like one little issue and she's like gonna push him away. And the fact that he was like, no, like I'm gonna fight for this, like this is not, you know, the end. And so I just loved that. And even though third act conflicts, third act breakups are annoying at times, I feel like this one was done well, where it wasn't really that annoying because you didn't have to like wait forever for them to make up. It was within like 10 pages, which I was like, thank you. I hate when it's like 30 pages of like third act breakup or whatever and they're like not together, and I'm like, what is the point? So really enjoyed this. Next book that I'm going to jump into for our new releases is none other than Fearless by Miss Lauren Roberts. I am so excited to get into this book. I'm obsessed with this series and I can't believe this is the end. Like, I don't want it to end, but I'm also so excited to see what happens, especially that cliffhanger that the second book, Reckless, left off on. I'm like, I need to know what happens. So I'm very excited. I also just like, Kai is literally the perfect male main character, and I'm so ready to read more about Kai. And Peyton, of course, too, but like Kai, perfect. So anyways, I have to edit a video, but hopefully I'm going to tonight get into this. And yeah, I am literally so excited. I feel like I'm just gonna eat this up. Like, I feel like I am going to completely devour this book. How long is it even? It's definitely thicker than all the other ones. 588 pages. Holy shit. That is much heftier than the other ones. I'm so excited that I have this in my possession and that I can finally read it. Guys, what is happening? As you saw, I've been listening to the audiobook a little bit because I was going on a walk and stuff and I wanted to continue reading, so I was like, I'm just gonna listen to the audiobook. Oh my god. I have not updated you guys since I started this, I think. And I am now more than halfway through. And this book is crazy. So at first, I was like 75 to 100 pages in, and I was like, nothing's happening. Like, quite literally, nothing has happened. And I was getting a little nervous because this book is 600 pages, and I was like, when is it gonna pick up? Peyton, and I won't say why, in this book has to go through another series of trials. And the third trial just happened. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, not what I was expecting. Yeah, so that was crazy. This was around like chapter 45-ish in that area. Wild. Also, Kai, the man that you are. Like, obviously we know from the other two books in this series that Kai is perfect. He's just perfect. But the way that Lauren Roberts writes him and the things that this man says, I'm like, he's simply not real. Like, truly simply not real. I'm underlining many a moment. I'm trying to like find some of the really good ones that don't really give anything away. I won't say what's happening in this, but he says, I'll have the rest of my life to pretend with you. But for now, I needed to keep you alert. She said, you were distracting me. He said, and I will happily be your distraction from pain for as long as you need. Okay, love. He said, I was prepared to plead. She says, you would not. He said, oh darling, I would do so much worse if only you asked. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm enjoying this, which I was a little nervous because I was looking at some reviews and I'm seeing some like middle of the range reviews. I'm also seeing some really high reviews, and then I've seen a handful of really low reviews. So I kind of seeing stuff all over. I will say the overall rating right now on Goodreads is pretty high. So I feel good about that, but I was a little bit nervous because I was like, after the first like 100 pages of nothing happening, I was like, oh God, is this gonna be bad? But it's getting better. It's definitely getting a lot better. I still have no idea where this is gonna go, especially after what just happened. We had like a big plot point that I'm like, I don't know how we're gonna come back from this. So very interested to see how this is. I've been listening to it, like I said, a lot on the audiobook, and I've really enjoyed this audiobook a lot. It's on the Spotify free audiobooks if you're interested. But yeah, really, really enjoying the audiobook right now. According to the audiobook, I'm 65% of the way through the book. So we're getting close. I'm gonna try and finish it tomorrow, I think. I don't think I'll finish it tonight. Definitely, I know I won't finish it tonight, but probably, hopefully, I'll finish it tomorrow. I had a feeling this character was going to come back up again, but I did not expect this. Last night, I finished Fearless, and oh my God, it was so good. I personally did not expect any of the twists and turns. And now I know a lot of people are probably gonna say, oh, I saw this coming, whatever. Personally, I didn't, but I am also the person that like, usually when I'm reading a book, like I want the element of surprise. And when I'm reading a mystery, like sometimes I'll try and sit and think in my head of like, oh, what could this be? Like what's happening? But I'm also like, I try to not think too hard about it because I want the surprise element. Like to me, that's the fun part, is like being shocked by what's happening. So there were definitely a lot of shocking moments that I was not anticipating. Obviously the way it like ended, I saw coming, but the journey to get there was definitely not at all what I anticipated. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I don't have a book with me because I already gave it to my friend to read, which I'm now realizing maybe I should have waited because I wanted to read you guys some quotes. So unfortunately we would not have that. But I loved it so much. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I thought it was phenomenal. The audiobook is amazing. I really enjoy the audiobook. You get different narrators for everybody. So that was really fun. For all the different point of views, you get different narrators, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, I mean, you saw my reaction to some certain parts. There were some things that I didn't catch my reaction to, but genuinely there were so many times where my jaw was like on the floor. I was like, what just happened? So I really thoroughly enjoyed it. That was very successful. I am really happy with this. That means I gave every single book in that series 5 stars, minus the novella, but I feel like the novella is a little different because since it was just a novella, you couldn't really get too deep into it, but I think I gave that one like either 4 or 4.5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. So I just love Lauren Roberts' writing. I love the way she writes. And yeah, I hope she continues writing fantasy or romance or whatever. I am just really excited to see what she comes up with next. And now we are moving right on into our next new release, and that is going to be Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. First of all, obsessed with the cover. The colors here are stunning, and when you take the dust jacket off, it's this like adorable baby pink that I love so much. But I don't know too much about this one. Only the little bit that I do know is that basically the main 2 characters meet and like have a really good first date or something, but then the girl moves to the other side of the country, so now they're like kind of trying to figure out if they want to do long distance because they only met once but they had a really good connection. Pretty sure that is kind of where this goes. It is a Friday night. I'm having a little self-care night. It's kind of rainy out, so I'm gonna stay in and read, do face masks, just have like a chill night. And I'm so excited that I have a new Abby Jimenez book to enjoy my night with. So I'll keep you guys updated and let you know how things go. I'm about to head to the grocery store, but I thought I would give you an update on Say You'll Remember Me. I am currently on page 258 and I'm enjoying it so far. The only thing I will say is it is very insta-lovey, which I don't always love just because I don't find it realistic. But I still am just loving Abby Jimenez's writing, so I feel like that honestly makes up for a lot of it. Also, another thing is I feel like we just keep having the same inner conversations, or at least the characters keep having the same inner conversations in their head of like, it's long distance, how are we gonna make this work? Because basically they meet one night, they have a like really fun date, they end up getting trapped in an escape room together, and they kind of just have this like really amazing first connection. But then she is literally moving across the country the following day to go be with her family because her mom is sick. So she can't really stay. He has a business that he runs. He's a vet, but he owns his own practice. So he can't really leave. So they're kind of stuck in this like difficult position of like, we both have to be in these places literally across the country from each other, but they want to be together. So they're like trying to make long distance work. But I just feel like we keep going roundabout of like, oh, it's long distance. I don't know if we can make it work. I want to make it work. I really like him. And like, just, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of repetitive a little bit of like, okay, we keep having these same conversations. And I mean, I'm like, I have about 100 pages left and like, I'm still waiting. I'm like, okay, something has to happen where they're going to be able to be together. Like, I highly doubt that this book is going to end with them just continuing to do long distance. So I'm like, okay, let's jump to the point where they are actually like able to be together. Let's see what happens that allows them to be together. I don't know. They're like visiting each other and they're having these cute moments, which I'm enjoying, but I'm also getting to a point where I'm like, okay, I feel like we're just having the same thing over and over and over again. So yeah, I am enjoying it though. I think I'm going to try and finish it today. So I'll let you guys know how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm loving Abby Jimenez's writing as I always do. So I feel like I said, that makes up for a lot of the little issues that I have. But yeah, otherwise, I'm like, I just want more, you know? I want more. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, so far, I would say pretty good. So far, pretty good. So I have finished Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. And I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. I was a little disappointed. I don't know. I think I obviously love Abby Jimenez's writing, and that is, there's no difference there. Like, I do love her writing. I understand some people find it a little cringe. She does use some like very modern day references. They talk about ACOTAR in there, talk about TikTok. The main girl is a social media marketing person, and they'll include little bits that are like a little cringy at times. But for me, I kind of am able to like gloss over that. I enjoy her writing style a lot. However, I feel like with this one, the fact that they were long distance the entire time really threw me off because they didn't even have an ability to like set up a foundation for a relationship. They immediately went into long distance because they had one date and then she moved across the country. And so they were constantly going back and forth. So I feel like the whole time it was one, unrealistic because it was very insta love. They didn't have a lot of time to connect. And then all of a sudden we're like, after meeting twice, we're like, yeah, we're gonna do long distance. And I was like, that's kind of crazy. But anyways, so first we have that. And then second, all of their inner monologues the entire time were about how hard long distance is. And I get it. But I'm also at one point, it just got so repetitive that I was like, okay, they just keep going over the same exact thing. And then I know it was put in for the plot, but these things kept happening that would like continue to drive them apart. Like just when he had saved up enough money to come see her, something happens and he wasn't able to. And it's like, I don't know, it just felt like repetitive at times, I guess, is kind of where I'm getting with this. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't love reading about long distance relationships. Maybe that's just me. And maybe if you're in a long distance relationship or have been in a long distance relationship, you might really like this because you might feel like you connect to it. But for me, I was just like, okay, I'm kind of bored of them continuously talking about how hard it is to be apart and should we continue to do this or should we just give it up and whatever. Also, the only times that they were happy were when they were together. Otherwise, they were completely miserable, which I hate when that is written in a book where the couple is only happy when they're together, because I just feel like in life in general, you should never only find your happiness with one person. You should be able to be happy with yourself, be happy with your friends, your family, whatever it is, outside people. It shouldn't just be your relationship that brings you joy. I feel like that can get really toxic. And so I don't like reading about that. Like he was working overtime and working all these extra hours to be able to save up money to fly and see her. She's at home caretaking for her mom and like really struggling with that, which I completely get are like valid things going on in their lives and things that people do struggle with. But it was like the only time that they found joy was when they were together. And I was like, just didn't love that part. I will say though, with Samantha's mom having dementia, there were a lot of conversations about memories and how the people that you want to make memories with and the things that you are going to remember when you're old. And it might not be the little details, but it's going to be, you know, the people and how you spent your time and the people you spend your time with. So I did enjoy those little conversations. I thought that part was sweet. Especially I have family with dementia, so it was like very timely for me to be reading about that. So anyways, parts I enjoyed, parts I didn't enjoy. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. So still good. If you're in a long distance relationship, maybe give it a go. I feel like you would really enjoy it. Now we are jumping into what is probably my most highly anticipated book probably for this year, or one of my most highly anticipated books for this year, and that is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I've loved every book she's ever written. I've never given one less than 4 stars, and for me, that's very good. I'm very picky with my 5 stars, so the fact that I've never rated anything she's ever written under 4 stars is like, I mean, she's my favorite author. Her and Sally Rooney and maybe like Elsie Silver are probably some of my favorite authors. So of course I'm excited for this. So I just started this yesterday and I'm on page 80. Alice, Hayden, and then also Margaret a little bit. Alice and Hayden are both writers and they both tend to write more like biography style about famous people, and they both show up to Margaret's house, both competing to be the one to write her biography. And Margaret is from this really famous family that like goes back generations and generations, and she was kind of a socialite in her youth. I don't really know what else. We're kind of slowly learning about Margaret's life. So they're both sort of competing to write this biography. They both show up, do an interview, and then Margaret tells them that she wants them to both do like a month trial, and then she's going to pick which one of them is going to write her biography. So they're splitting the days, spending time with her. They're staying on this small little island off the coast of Savannah, Georgia, where she lives. And she's kind of in hiding now. She was like really popular in her youth, and then she kind of like fell off the face of the earth and no one even really knows anything about her. So she's now like revealing all of this stuff about her family, things that people in the past have gotten wrong. And yeah, so I'm really liking so far how it's set up. I just got this first little glimpse of a section called The Story, So I think what we're gonna get is like parts about Hayden and Alice, kind of their personal lives, and then them competing for this job. But then we're also going to get the story of Margaret and her youth. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm really excited. So far, I'm really enjoying it. Reading Emily Henry's writing, there's something so unique about it to me that when I start reading, I immediately, one, know it's her writing, and two, it feels like comforting and it feels like a warm hug. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about the way she writes that is just so distinctly her. It really just brings me like so much joy and comfort to read her books. Like, I don't know if it's the fact that the weather's warming up and we're getting spring out, but it just like really feels so right for one, this time of year, and then two, just, I don't know, like I said, it just feels like a warm hug. I don't know how else to describe it. So I'm really excited to continue on with this book. I'm going to try and get a good way through tonight because I just want to know what's happening. Like, I'm so intrigued now to learn about Margaret, but then also to kind of see where this is going to go between Hayden and Alice, because I'm assuming there's going to be a love story. But I saw like one little thing online and then I was like, nope, can't see anything else. But I did see people say that it's not a love story in the way you think. So I don't know what that means. I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, I'll let you guys know how this goes. Also, as we know, I have to take off the dust jacket, and love the color of this. This like orangey, this orange and yellow together. Or it's like, I don't know, is that yellow? Tangerine? I don't know. Love this though. I have not updated you on Great Big Beautiful Life at all, I don't think, and I'm about halfway through it. I've been reading it kind of slow, and it's not the book's fault. I have just had a very busy week, and yeah, it's just been busy and I haven't had a ton of reading time. So I'm finally sitting down now. It is Saturday. I'm not feeling the best. My throat's kind of sore, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stay in tonight and read and hopefully maybe finish this. But yeah, I'm currently on page 193 at chapter 18, and I'm just loving it. I really am. Actually, I am remembering I did update a little bit because I said how much I love Emily Henry's writing and how it just feels like a warm hug. And that's just what I'm continuing to feel. I'm loving the relationship that's building between Hayden and Alice. They like each other, but then also they know that they're both fighting for the same positions. It's kind of like awkward, but then they're hanging out and like flirting, and I just am excited to see where it goes. I also love learning about Margaret's story a lot. I'm really, really enjoying that part. So anyways, I'm gonna continue reading now and hopefully finish this. As with every Emily Henry book, there are so many good quotes in here. There's a bit of a theme of grief in here because Hayden, the book that made him really famous was a biography that he wrote about a famous actor maybe who had dementia and ended up passing away. And so Hayden talks a lot about his experience writing a book for a man who was losing his memory and then ended up passing away. And then also Alice lost her father, so there's definitely mentions of grief in here. But because of that, I think there are some really great quotes. This one, Alice is talking about her dad and missing him and not being able to talk to him. And she said, "Love isn't something you can cup in your hands, and I have to believe that means it's something that can't ever be lost." And I just really liked that. Hayden was talking about writing, especially writing people's real life stories, and he said, "It feels like you've lived their whole life with them, and I just can't help but think we're not supposed to know how it all ends this early. It's too much of a burden." And I don't know, I just think it's interesting. Like, there's just definitely some quotes that really like sit there and kind of make you think. So there's definitely a lot more, but yeah, I'm gonna continue reading now and we'll update you guys how it's going. I might just wait till I'm done finishing and then update you. I don't know, we'll see. So I have finished Great Big Beautiful Life and I gave it 4.5 stars. I adored this book so much. Honestly, I don't think Emily Henry can ever go wrong. I love her so much. I love her writing, and I just knew I was gonna love this one. Just the way that it was pitched, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna love it. The ending was so good. The twist at the end. There was one thing that I kind of predicted, like once we got to a certain point, I was like, oh, hold on. But it's not something that I would have seen coming like from the start of the book, but I really loved this. It reminded me a lot of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is one of my all-time favorite books ever. And it reminded me a lot of that. Similar also in the vein of the person that's being interviewed is like an older person who's very well known. And there's kind of a bit of a secret that they're hiding, or there's just something where you're like, why, like, what is this connection? And finding out the connection, I was like very surprised, but also really loved it so much. And it was perfect. Like, I just love reading Emily Henry's books so much, and I loved this one. It was very different, I feel like, than the books that she's normally writing. It definitely didn't focus as much on the romance, which personally I didn't mind. I kind of liked that it was more of a literary fiction with an element of romance, whereas I know some people really probably preferred or wanted it to be more romance heavy. But yeah, so that is all for part 1 of reading new releases. Like I said, I'm definitely at least gonna have one more of these throughout the summer, maybe a second one. Who knows, but I'm already like planning out the books for the next one, and I'm really excited about those. So hope you guys are excited as well, and definitely make sure you're subscribed so you can see the next video and any upcoming videos that I have. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.